Mr. Biden also appears to have won convincingly among the type of suburban voters who pollsters say have been turning away from President Donald Trump. With all precincts reporting, Mr. Biden won about 53% of the vote in Virginia, leaving Mr. Sanders a distant second on 23%. Virginia and North Carolina are so important because they are key swing states in the 2020 election. All eyes now are on the biggest voting state of California and the second biggest, Texas. Mr. Sanders is hoping to do well in the Golden State, a liberal behemoth, while exit poll data suggests he won 45% of the Hispanic vote in Texas, compared to 24% for Mr. Biden. What are primaries and how do they work? Also appearing on a presidential ballot for the first time after skipping all 4 contests last month was Michael Bloomberg. The former New York mayor, who has spent more than $500 million of his own money, is expected to win the U.S. territory of American Samoa. Mr. Biden aims to consolidate the centrist Democratic vote by barging aside Mr. Bloomberg, one of the world's richest men. But the billionaire wildcard lowered expectations for his performance ahead of Tuesday, indicating he plans to fight all the way to the party convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in July. Read more on Joe Biden image copyright Getty Images. Who is he? Third White House run for middle-class Joe Biden. What his supporters say, is this Joe Biden's big comeback? On the campaign trail, watch Biden on No Malarkey tour where he stands, against other Democrats like Obama, his rivals, all the Democrats and their key issues. Super Tuesday offers an electoral bonanza of more than 1,300 of the 1,991 delegates needed to clinch the Democratic White House nomination under America's quirky political system. Ms. Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg, who were also competing for centrist Democrats, ended their campaigns this week and endorsed Mr. Biden. Mr. Biden credited his win in Minnesota to the support from Ms. Klobuchar, who is the Midwestern state senator. The Sanders team have said the double exit was part of an all-out mobilization by the party establishment and big money donors to freeze out the Vermont senator. 5 charts that explain the Democratic race. The Democratic Party is at a crossroads as its voters decide which candidate has the best chance of denying Mr. Trump a second term in office this autumn. Mr. Biden presents himself as an electable pragmatist who can bring incremental change, whereas Mr. Sanders has promised a revolution. Mr. Sanders' detractors say he is too much of a radical firebrand to win over the swing voters needed to win the White House. The 78-year-old is planning to transform the American economy with a multi-trillion-dollar, higher taxation blueprint on everything from healthcare to education. Mr. Biden's critics say his campaign is uninspiring, and he brings too much political baggage from his lifelong career as a Washington insider. Mr. Trump, meanwhile, could not resist taking repeated digs at Mr. Bloomberg after his disappointing night. Skip Twitter post by @RealDonaldTrump. Donald J. Trump checkmark at Real Donald Trump. The biggest loser tonight, by far, is Mini Mike Bloomberg. His political consultants took him for a ride. $700 million washed down the drain, and he got nothing for it but the nickname Mini Mike, and the complete destruction of his reputation. Way to go, Mike.